All right, so we are going to go ahead and move on to our user spotlight. Our speaker today is Becky Donaldson from Cleveland State Community College. We are so excited to be hosting her today. Becky, welcome, and feel free to unmute yourself. The floor is yours.
All right. Hello. 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 All right. We begin the sharing of the screen. Okay, so my name is Becky Donaldson. I am the ACE coordinator here at Cleveland Community College. ACE is our Academic Center for Excellence. So I've been here since part-time 2017 to 2020, and then full-time since 2020. So I will try to, let's see, how are we on time? Maybe get through this in 10 minutes or so, so that y'all can ask some questions if you'd like to. So Cleveland Community College, or CCC, we're located in Shelby, North Carolina, which is pretty much equidistant between Charlotte and Asheville. So we're kind of in the foothills of North Carolina. CCC was established in 1967 as Cleveland County Technical Institute. And there again are my dates. So I've been here for, I guess I'm going on 7.5, I guess I'm almost on 8 years. So we've learned a lot in that time. Just some kind of basic facts about the college. Our enrollment, this is from 23-24, so it's going to be, pretty different. This academic year, we served a total of pretty much 8,500 students. The majority of those are continuing education students. We do a whole lot of trainings, vocational trainings, all kinds of cool stuff in continuing education. So we had about 3,700 curriculum students enrolled. And I'm very proud to say that we were the top performing community college in North Carolina academically for 23-24. And I'd like to think that our tutoring center had a part in that. Our top 5 programs here at CCC, the biggest is our college transfer pathway. So those are high school students who are dual enrolled. And their classes look really different depending. Some of them will be enrolled in kind of your traditional 16-week online college courses. Some of them get bused to our campus to take programs like cosmetology, aesthetics, welding, things that are very hands-on. Sometimes those students will be in their own county high school, and one of our faculty members will go to their classroom and bring the college course to them. So those CCP students are a very diverse bunch with what they're taking, how they're taking it. Below them is the associate in arts. We've got lots of special credit students who are taking, a handful of courses here and there. And then we have a standalone nursing program that's about 2 years old at this point. So that's certainly growing. And then our associate in science program there at the bottom. So that gives you a little idea of the sorts of students that we're working with. So our tutoring center is called the Academic Center for Excellence. It's available to all curriculum students. So, that can go from a nursing student down to a high school student who is dual enrolled here at the college. We offer face-to-face and virtual sessions. Our on-campus and online tutors are available fall, spring, and summer. We used to not be available in the summer, but we are now. Most of our classes are online in the summer, and they're only 10 weeks. So it's fast and furious, and we find that some students really use our center as a touchstone to have some face-to-face something in the summer, since they're working through these fast-paced online classes. Our center offers like course content support, so specific support to the course content, but we also will offer writing support for any course, and tech support. We've got a lot of returning students, so students who've been out of the classroom for anywhere from a couple years to 60 years, and for many of them the technological learning curve can be a real obstacle, And so our tutors will work with them to help them kind of understand our LMS and understand their college account, etc. To give you an idea, for staff, we have all part-time staff other than me. 2 professional writing tutors. Right now, we've got 6 peer health science tutors. So those are mostly tutoring nursing, but they'll work with anatomy and physiology students, and then students who are prepping for the TEAS, which is a test that applicants to health science programs have to take. I've got 3 peer tutors in various subjects and then 2 administrative support staff. So that gives you an idea for the size of our center. So our history with Engineerica, we are AccuTrack legacy customers. So we were rocking with that AccuTrack database way back in the day. That's what I inherited coming in 2017. And, its functionality did what we needed it to do. The only thing that really, well, a couple things that were missing was kind of ease of use for students. The way we had our system set up, they really only could make appointments if they were here on campus. So they could only make appointments if they, finished out an appointment with somebody. You can, go to our little kiosk and make your next appointment, or if they called us and we would make it for them. And the other thing was that we had absolutely no virtual tutoring of any kind. It wasn't in the brain, not even a little bit. So Accudemia kind of came on the scene, and we were already beta testing it in spring of 2020, thank God. And so we had 1 week of that spring break to move our entire center virtual. And Accudemia saved our center. That simply wouldn't have happened had we not. I don't even want to think about how I would have had to kind of make that happen without Accudemia. So it has truly been a lifesaver. It was the very first time we had any experience offering virtual sessions. And those virtual sessions, that offering has hung on since COVID. So this will also give you an idea of how our visits tracking. I tried to put this in a real summary. So I collapsed all the academic years together, fall, spring, summer. And if you kind of look at the trend line, you can see that our unique visits have definitely been on the uptick. That 2021 academic year, you all know very well that data doesn't tell the whole story. There's a whole story behind why that number was as high as it looks here. It shouldn't be that high. So it's really, I think, been a fairly steady climb. And I'm really excited to look at those numbers of unique students that we're touching through an academic year. So we've got 120 is our very first number. And now last academic year, we were up to 366. So that's exciting for me. So we've really seen growth. There's no doubt in my mind that a lot of that is connected to Accudemia and the way that it has lowered a lot of the barriers for student use. So the way I kind of want to talk about how Accudemia works for us is I'm gonna share with you sort of our favorite features from multiple perspectives. So we'll start with the features that really benefit students. Having the single sign-on capability is huge. I've got a little screenshot here of our apps dashboard. This is, all the students, when they sign into their college account, they're going to land right here with all their apps. And our Accudemia app is just one of them. And it's made it really simple. If we've ever rebranded or changed our logo, that's a real easy shift to make with Accudemia. And you can see here, because of our name, it defaults to alphabetical sorting. And so we land right at the very top. So it's very easy for me to let students know how to access us. They've got tons of scheduling control. They can set up, we do have some limits. They can set up on their own, they can set up 3 appointments in a week. Past that, I ask them to ask me for approval to make sure that, we've got things balanced out. The text confirmations are really helpful. Many of these students, I think it's fair to say almost all of our students are juggling work and caretaking of some kind. And so having the text confirmations has been huge. And then now with the app, I don't have a great feel for how many students are using the mobile app, but I'll talk in a minute about how that has helped our tutors internally. So favorite features for tutors, it's super, super simple to adjust tutor assignments each semester. And I've got probably maybe 70% of our tutors are students themselves. And so each semester it's, likely that their sort of class offerings might shift according to what they took that semester. So it's just really, really simple to adjust their classes that they cover and their schedules. Because of that nursing school standalone program that's been added in the last couple of years, we have really, really seen an uptick in usage from those students, from nursing students. And so those nursing tutors are themselves nursing students, and schedules are crazy. They are crazy. So the ability to have kind of a week-to-week schedule inside Accudemia, and the ability to, offer maybe just online during these times, just face-to-face during these times, has been extremely helpful. And having the different permissions that I can give to different users is helpful as well. I maybe don't want every single tutor to be able to edit their own schedule, but I can have a nursing tutor who can edit their online availability, so that, I've had a nursing tutor work with a classmate or an underclassman, on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock online when we are not here on campus. And Accudemia just really, really allows for that flexibility. The mobile app for tutors is really, really helpful. It is a little bit of an event to get signed into the apps dashboard with multi-factor authentication and all that jazz. But tutors can just pop open, their own Accudemia app and see what their day looks like no matter where they are. That's really, really helpful. We do use the tutoring assessment for logs, so that students who are working with multiple tutors have those notes according to each log. So I encourage tutors, hey, if you're working with a student you haven't worked with in a while, pop into Accudemia, pull up their session logs, and see what, previous tutors have been working on in the past few appointments. And then I also really like the bio information we can include for tutors, so that they can, they can change their picture if they want to, they can list their names. We've got just about everybody in our center goes by their middle name instead of their first. So that's really helpful to be able to adjust. And then, of course, just including a note to make things more personal, including pronouns, so that students can get to know a little bit about the tutor ahead of time, is a real advantage. All right, on to my favorite things. I mentioned this before. It's very simple if you rebrand. So we hadn't changed the center of our name since we've had Accudemia, but we have changed the logo. And it's just not a heavy lift to make some of those changes. It's easy to manage appointments and drop-ins. A lot of services that I've looked at, it might be really tricky. It's like you got to pick one or the other. But Accudemia makes it very simple to have. We're probably 90% appointments, but we certainly do have a drop-in every now and again. We'll often have, in math classes and in nursing classes, we'll have one person make the appointment, but maybe 2 or 3 will show up with them. And so it's just very simple to have each of those students sign in so we can capture that information. We do have a no-show policy. I really like that I can edit the emails that students are going to get, confirmation emails when they set up appointments, so that if I do change the no-show policy, I can do that easily. It also goes out in every confirmation. So it's very rare that we have to enact it. But if we do, they've gotten it in every single confirmation email. So I don't feel like I'm enforcing something that hasn't been communicated clearly. Another thing that's super helpful is I was mentioning before that, we've got the course content. So when students log into their Accudemia account, they're going to see all the classes that are assigned to them, the ones that they're registered for that semester, which is an amazing feature all on its own, that the student schedule information is imported and is there. But we also are able to set up a few generic options. So that's where we have things like, basic computer skills. Maybe you're not struggling in your history or math class that you're in, but you're really struggling how to find any of the assignments in either one of those. So we have like a basic computer skills that's a generic course offering. And then we've also got writing for any course. Sometimes if students go in and they're working in an electrical class, and they click on that electrical class, well, I don't have a tutor signed up for that. But one of their options is going to be writing for any course. So if they're working on a discussion board for their electrical class that they want help with, they still are able to access us that way. So the customization is just about never ending with Accudemia, and that's been really helpful to us. So another big development in our time with Accudemia has been that our campus began an athletic program. And one of the very first things that happened with that was, a plan for study hall. And I was approached, hey, you track students who sign in and sign out of tutoring sessions, right? I do. Could you do that for study hall? And actually, yeah, we can. Accudemia makes that very easy. So we added a new location that's specific to study hall. The individual rooms where that took place has changed multiple times, but again, very easy to edit and change things like that. I can just add a new service associated with study hall, and I can really track. A couple times we had 2 different rooms going, and all of that's very simple to track inside Accudemia. So I want to say on campus now, we've got we're physically housed inside the library. The base is. So we've got a check-in station at the main library desk, a kiosk where students can sign in and sign out. We've got one that's down 3 levels in our actual physical space called the ACE Lab. And then we've got one in a classroom for study hall. We've got one down in the nursing building. Radiography students can sign in down there because they work, hands-on in the lab down there. There might be a couple more in that building that I'm forgetting. We are just able to put kiosks various places for various uses, but all that data lands, in the same spot and is easy to report on. So with the athletic study hall being run through Accudemia, it's really simple to set up those groupings, the user groups for each team. And whatever coaches and assistant coaches, whatever emails they give me that want to get those reports on a weekly basis, they can get them. And, those reports they show the total for each student. So they know if they've hit their required study hall hours. And I can even, we've created a study hall administrator permission inside Accudemia so that the coaches themselves can check throughout the week instead of having to wait on the report, see how students are doing. And of course, the athletes can check for themselves what their session logs look like. So it's worked really well for us with study hall tracking. All right. We are partially state funded. We're a community college, so we're a public institution. And when you get state and federal dollars, you do a whole lot of reporting. So we have to report our usage to our state system office every single semester. Of course, the way that we can download all the information, export all the sessions from Accudemia makes that much, much, much simpler. We also have used survey data. We use regularly each semester. Our students, as they sign out of face-to-face sessions, they are asked 3 questions. And for the last 5 years, 4 years, one of those questions has been involved in our program outcomes that we have to send to our accrediting body. So, Accudemia plays a real big part in all of the reporting that we do internally, externally, all of the above. We, will perhaps be looking at if we can get a physical space that's dedicated in another building. We'll probably consider adding a new center for health sciences. That's a really big and growing part of our college. And it's certainly, knowing that that's an option to do when we need to. I don't have to look for a whole new program. I can just add a new center is really, really helpful. So yeah, that customization, the ability to kind of grow and shrink as needed in academia has been extremely helpful. I think that is all I have, y'all. I didn't go as fast as I thought I did. But I am certainly happy to take any questions if anybody's got any.
Sorry, I thought I was unmuted.
Oh.
Does anybody have any questions for Becky? I don't think so. It doesn't sound like it, but if anybody does have any questions, you can feel free to pass those along to me. I'm happy to send those over. And thank you, Becky. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for joining us today. As a reminder, we are open for registration for our for our Engineerica Academic Center Summit virtual conference. So those professional development and academia training sessions are available. If you want to register for that, the link is in the chat. And if you are able to take our survey, Nick, do you have that link handy? If you haven't taken it before, that will help us plan future sessions. But thank you everyone for your time, and I hope that everybody has a great winter break, and look forward to seeing everybody again in the spring term and a great new year. And we will see you again at the next Academia Monthly session. Thank you all for coming. Take care.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.
Thanks, Becky.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks again, Becky.